Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, Chris Flaherty, Ethan Dore, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. A retired Burlington police detective passed away surrounded by family this past weekend. Retired Lieutenant Detective Alfred Shudo, a legend in the Burlington law enforcement field, passed away at his home where his children wanted him to be on Saturday evening, October 16th. His obituary from the Sullivan Funeral Home says that, the beloved husband of the late Joanne Watkins, he was 81 years old. Al was born, raised, and educated in Lawrence and was one of 3 children born to the late Sebastiano and Agnes Shudo. Al was a graduate of Middlesex Community College and Northeastern University. He would meet the love of his life, Joanne, while living in Lawrence. They married in 1960. In 1970, he visited Burlington and instantly knew that this was where he wanted to work and raise his children. At the age of 30, Al became a member of the Burlington Police Department. Al's life was all about his job. He was the voice and the face of the department for decades. He was an inspiration to the veteran officers and a role model for newer officers. Al was one of the first canine officers and ended his career as lieutenant detective running the detective division. Throughout his career and his life, Al did a lot of community outreach. He was involved in rape and crime prevention, trained police in various courses at the New England Police Training Council, and was involved in the DARE program. He was nominated for and won Police Officer of the Year and received a citation from then Governor Paul Cellucci. A national story that is all over the news is hitting close to home. Shawsheen Valley Technical High School said in a letter to parents and the community last week that disruptions in the global supply chain are having a noticeable impact on the school's food deliveries. Food Service Director Robert Roach said in a letter that the Food and Nutrition Department is currently faced with unprecedented shortages of food and packaging materials, massive delays or cancellations of deliveries, and department labor shortages. Nationwide shortages and delays have affected availability of certain food items, leading to substitutions of menu items they've been able to offer regularly in the past. These supply issues are occurring throughout the country and are especially challenging for school systems due to the quantity of meals they serve and the nutrition standards they follow. Roach said all of this means that they may need to make quick substitutions to their menus based upon what they are able to acquire. He said he knows that this affects students and they are doing their best to provide updates about menu changes when possible as soon as they identify an issue. Burlington Domestic Violence Prevention and Assistance Program, SAHELI, recently held a cybersecurity program as part of its Domestic Violence Awareness Month events. BNEWS Director Rich Hosford went to check it out and has this report.
Last Thursday, SAHELI, a Burlington-based domestic violence prevention and assistance organization, held a cybersecurity program at the Burlington Public Library featuring a presentation by Burlington Police Lieutenant Glenn Mills. The program was part of the group's Domestic Violence Awareness Month events and was intended to give viewers some advice and tools to protect themselves online.
So it was a general audience and a general overview of cybercrime. I didn't really get into the stalking issues and some of these other issues that we're also seeing, but it was to provide information to people, to educate them and give them resources that they can take home and help protect their children, help protect seniors, and help protect themselves.
Lieutenant Mills said one change people can make to ensure they are less vulnerable online is to carefully consider what personal information they are posting and whether every detail of our lives needs to be on social media.
We're suffering from a sort of epidemic or pandemic of oversharing, TMI, right? We're putting a lot of information out there about ourselves. And maybe when you're doing that, maybe start thinking like a bad guy. Like, well, if I put all this information out on social media about myself, do I need to tell everyone I'm away on vacation? Do I need to tell people where I live? Do I need to tell people everything about me, where I work, what I do for work? All of these pieces of information could be used against us. And we just have to be a little bit more careful about that. And we have to be aware that maybe even when we're using private sites that can't be accessed by everyone, that data could someday be leaked as well. So it's almost impossible to fight this, but if you take some basic measures to protect yourself, your likelihood of being a victim is reduced.
He also wants people to be more aware of what others send to them.
You don't have to click every link, and you should be much more skeptical of the phone calls and the emails and the messages that you receive. Just take a quick second to take a look at those and make sure they're legitimate. And there are a lot of tools out there that can help you do this. And if you think a link might not be safe, you can actually copy that link. There are certain sites you can paste it into that will show you a preview of what that site actually goes to, which is always interesting. Then you'll see, oh wow, that was a scam site or an advertising site. So, but general principles, that's what I was trying to get at today. Just the general principles, being aware of what the crimes are, being aware of what the scams are, and what's going on out there.
Saheli leaders said the program fit perfectly with their mission during Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
So it was because, Saheli is a domestic violence organization, and we do a lot of safety with our survivors. And it's very important for us to keep everybody safe. So this was one of the reasons that came in our mind to do this program, to keep everybody safe.
Finally, Renu said she thought the presentation was very informative.
It was very well. You can't even think he did it, really went in detail and talked about how to keep every single person online safety. So it was really important for us because even because of the COVID, we went, back everybody at home and working from home. So it was very important. Yes. That was the reason, So I was very happy today we had this. I learned myself a lot.
We will have the full presentation on our website and on BCAT soon, so stay tuned. From the Burlington Public Library, I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
A Woburn man is suing a Massachusetts state trooper who pulled him over for going nearly 100 miles per hour on Route 3 in Burlington and is alleging the current speed limit of 55 miles per hour on the highway is illegal. Mikhail El-Baye of Woburn received a speeding ticket on July 26 for going up to 96 miles per hour that he has been fighting unsuccessfully in court ever since. El-Baye also has not eased up on the gas pedal. Earlier this year, he received another ticket, this time for doing 72 on Route 3, and is suing the trooper in federal court in Boston, alleging his civil rights have been violated. He contends that the state highway law requires the Mass Department of Transportation to take into account highway conditions when setting a speed limit that is more in line with how fast people normally drive on the road. He says most drivers exceed 70 miles per hour, so the state should set the limit at that or higher. He also argues that Route 3 was set at 60 miles per hour before the 1974 mandate from the federal government setting all highways at 55 in the face of gas shortages. He said since this rule was repealed decades ago, Mass DOT should repeal the special speed restrictions on the road. According to Universal Hub, who wrote about the case late last week, El-Baye is asking a judge to order the state to change the speed limit and grant him whatever damages the judge sees fit. This could be a return of any funds he paid on the tickets, but he acknowledges that he never paid either fine. Guess we file that under wishful thinking. Burlington High School's senior Veronica Chang is raising funds to help clean up the oceans of masks used during the pandemic. BNews reporter met up with her to talk about it and has this look.
One BHS student is finding a new way to help our ecosystem. I spoke with senior Veronica Chang, who has started a GoFundMe page to raise ocean pollution awareness.
So I first started the page by just looking around the school vicinity, and there's just been a lot of scattered masks everywhere. And most of them actually end up in the ocean, as most wastes do. And 1.56 billion of them actually wound up into the ocean. So that's a massive increase in ocean pollution just in general. And all of those statistics I got from this nonprofit organization called Oceans Asia. And Oceans Asia is basically, they help raise awareness for all crises in the oceans. So ranging from wildlife crimes to just these types of pollutions. So I thought about making a GoFundMe to help them support their beach cleanups, because they're actually doing research and beach cleanups in the Socos Islands.
Show your support for Veronica
So I've raised so far $1,200 something, and I'm trying to get to 5,000, but that's already a huge achievement. So I have the link to my GoFundMe posted on my Instagram. It's Veronica X Chang. So just click on the link, and any amount helps.
From Burlington High School, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Burlington's major charity and nonprofit organization, People Helping People, is hosting the 11th annual Capitol Grill Raffle to raise funds for those in need this holiday season. The annual Capitol Grill Raffle provides a chance to win a $1,000 gift certificate to the Capitol Grill in Burlington. The prize, which covers dinner for 6, including wine, was donated by the Capitol Grill at 10 Wyside Road in Burlington. The organization, which runs the Burlington Food Pantry as well as the Covenant for Basic Needs and the Holiday Wish Tree, says they've been serving more families than ever since the start of the pandemic. Raffle tickets are $20 each and can be purchased from their website at peoplehelpingpeopleinc.org. The Burlington Historical Commission, along with the organization Gravesite Preservation, is restoring the gravestones of Burlington's interred at the Second Parish Burial Ground. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanek has this report.
If you happen by Burlington's Second Parish Burial Ground, you may think you're witnessing a grave robber. What you're actually seeing is historical preservation.
It's roughly a 5-year project. Because of the cost, we had to spread it out for 5 years. It started 2 years ago. He's done this front section of the cemetery that faces Simon's Park. He did the front section 1 year and the back section the next year. Now he's starting on the middle, and that's where this gravestone he's working on today is the middle. He'll work on that middle for the most part next spring, and then the 2 following springs he'll work on the front at the backside and the rear of the backside.
Yeah, I would say it's more of a hobby because I do enjoy it. None of this is really work for me. I just really enjoy, coming out here and doing it. I was always interested in this type of stuff anyways, but when you're driving by these places and you're seeing the condition that they're in, it's a little bit heartbreaking. I mean, these people deserve the respect, to have their grave sites preserved. And when I was evaluating some of the stones here, I noticed that the lower corner on this one was broken. So, that needed to be fixed. And so the way that we did that was I had to loosen up the soil around it, hoisted the gravestone out of the ground, and laid it down and used some epoxy and braces and so forth, put it back together again, and it came out beautiful. You can barely tell that it's been repaired, and then we'll get that back in the ground, standing up straight and the way it was intended to be. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of money for the historical commissions and the cities. They just don't have the funds to put into this. So I think that it's important that somebody steps up and tries to do what they can.
It's funded by the town, actually. The Historical Commission gets a certain amount of money each year, and we dispose of it as we see fit, because this cemetery was in dire need of care. Nothing had been done in here for probably hundreds of years. Anybody can call a commission at any time for a tour of the cemetery. We're very happy to do it. The museum, the cemetery, the Old West School, all the historical places.
Yeah, no ghosts have haunted me. I think they all like what I'm doing.
From the town of Burlington's Second Parish Burial Ground, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanek.
The Burlington Garden Contest is a cooperative effort by the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department and the Burlington Garden Club. Started in the summer of 2020 as a safe, physically distant activity to enjoy the outdoors, get physical activity, beautify the community, and grow nutritious fruits and vegetables. Over the last couple of summers, the program has grown to where the contest now offers 5 categories. A senior citizens category for ages 60 and above, a category for vegetable herb gardens, porch, balcony or container gardens, flower gardens, and a junior gardener category for ages 8 to 16. The winners were announced at the most recent Recreation Commission meeting and are as follows: vegetable herb gardens, Suzanne Raposo; porch, balcony or container, Melissa O'Dowd; flower garden, Jane and Bill Boyven; junior garden, Aditya Patel. Burlington Parks and Recreation Director Brendan Egan served as one of the judges in the contest and expressed his admiration, saying it was great to see all the hard work that people put into their gardens at their houses. You can find a gallery of the winning gardens on our website at bcattv.org/bnews. Vehicles decorated for Halloween lined up down the BHS faculty parking lot on Sunday, October 17th for the third annual Trunk or Treat event put on by the Burlington Girl Scouts. After a hiatus in 2020, it was a successful return for Trunk or Treat, which also doubles as a food drive for the Burlington Food Pantry. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty has this look.
Trick-or-treaters flocked to BHS on Sunday, October 17th for the third annual Trunk or Treat event presented by Burlington Girl Scouts. The event doubles as a fundraiser for the Burlington Food Pantry.
Trunk or Treat got started by the Girl Scouts to give back to the community. We accept donations for the food pantry, and it's about bringing the community together in a fun, safe atmosphere.
Trunks were decorated by local Girl Scout troops, families, and community members.
DB Studios is a dance studio. We have classes for kids and adults. We teach jazz, ballet, modern, and we have a competitive dance team. We are passing out candy, and we have our hip-hop dance team here performing a little spooky number.
Well, we're down here just to get ourselves out in the community and just to let people know that we do work with kids starting at age 6 or first grade. Right on up to adulthood and into we have people who have participated with us into their 70s and 80s.
We're here, giving out all kinds of superhero treats. I have superhero bracelets and gliders and frisbees, and we're just sort of here also letting everybody know that the library is here, and we have all kinds of events and stuff like that, and celebrating Halloween. So we have a superhero trunk right here, and actually I have Captain Marvel hanging out my window because we love superheroes at the library.
Some spirited trick-or-treaters took a break from their candy crusade to speak to BNews.
I'm dressed up as Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas.
What do you like about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Sally.
What do you like about Sally?
Her dress.
Can you guys tell me who you're dressed up as?
I'm dressed as Hermione Granger. I'm dressed up as Mario sitting on a Yoshi.
Why do you like Mario?
Because it's a video game and I like video games.
And what do you like about Hermione?
I like that she is really smart and she's proud of that and she's really determined.
I'm here with?
Gabby.
Hi, Gabby. Who are you dressed up as?
Winfred from Hocus Pocus.
What do you like about Winnie from Hocus Pocus?
She's evil.
After a 2020 hiatus, the community was ready to get out and partake in some Halloween fun.
The turnout has been great. Last year we had over 400 people come through, and I would say we are meeting and exceeding that number.
Wonderful. Being able to get the community out together, again, in a safe environment and be able to just be together and laugh and smile.
At the end of the day, over 850 pounds of food were donated to the food pantry. Events like Trunk or Treat help Girl Scouts give back to the Burlington community.
Girl Scouts is all about community service and having fun, and I'd say we hit it out of the park with this one. And we also like to put the Girl Scouts of Burlington name out there. So if anyone's ever interested in joining a troop, we're always looking for new people to come on in and have fun with us.
Girl Scouts is really here for the community, and we're here to help out and bring everybody together and have fun.
Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly, wishing you a safe and happy Halloween.
Continuing on the theme of Halloween, the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department brought back a favorite town tradition to Simons Park, the Halloween Spooktacular. BNews reporter Ethan Dore went to check out the fun and has this report.
Halloween is back in Burlington, which means the return of a family favorite. The Halloween Spooktacular, featuring games, a bonfire, a haunted woods walkthrough, and the all-new Candy Crane. I caught up with Burlington Parks and Recreation Director Brendan Egan about this year's turnout and the excitement of being back to a town staple after a pandemic's hiatus.
The event was, let's say, very well attended. We really put a lot into the event, changed some things around, and we were pleasantly surprised by the number of people we had. Well, Superman came into town to help us with this. The Candy Crane drop was the brainchild of Kelly Lehman, our program coordinator, and it was awesome. People were raving about it. I think that's probably what drew the number of people we got, but it was something she had seen and wanted to try, and it was actually spectacular. Spooktacular. It was spooktacular.
I also spoke to some trick-or-treaters who shared what they liked best about the Spooktacular, what they're dressed up as, and their favorite candy.
What have you enjoyed the most while being here tonight?
Always a spooky walk. Watch the candy drop. My favorite is Sunny.
Get candies.
So what are we dressed up as this evening?
Mario. Chief from Halo. I don't know.
What's your favorite candy tonight?
Lollipops. Starburst. Light pop.
There were also some changes made to keep everyone outdoors as much as possible, with a crowd as big as this year's turnout.
The pandemic has made it tricky as we've been allowed to do more and more things. We never know how many people we're going to get. We planned for about 2,000 people today, and I think we probably saw 4,000 or more. The Spooky Walk, which happens in the woods here at Simon's, was a new event for us. Usually we have a haunted house in the Visco building, but this year, wanted to keep things outdoors as much as possible, and we have this great Spooky Walk. We invited local businesses to set up a 10 by 10 area with their spooky scene, and we had 6 businesses come out and set up scenes, and we're really excited. We think it's something that will grow. We have awesome property here with Simon's Park, and the woods just lend itself to a nice spooky walk on Halloween.
From Simon's Park, this is Ethan Doré saying Happy Halloween from BNEWS Weekly.
Nice job, Ethan. We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown for a look at this week's forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown with the look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading in towards the last week of October. I know it's hard to believe that we are that far into fall now. And it looks like we're going to be seeing some fairly average temperatures, maybe some below average temperatures as we look at our next 7 days here in the Burlington area. Nothing too crazy. Doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any chances of our first frost either, even as we look into the next week. So we are definitely behind schedule in terms of that. And starting up here on Friday, we're actually going to have fairly pleasant temperatures out there. Temperatures are going to be pretty nice up in the mid to upper 60s, so it's going to be probably much above average for this time of the year when it should only be around 60 for our average highs. As we round up the period getting in towards next Thursday, our average highs at this time of the year are only supposed to be in the upper 50s. And looking at the weather models, it looks like we're going to be actually much warmer than that again. So looks like we're going to have a little bit of a cool down as we start out the work week again, but it looks like temperatures are going to be moderating again. And of course, as you notice, the days keep getting shorter and shorter. Our sunsets now before 6 p.m. So as we go ahead, let's take a look what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area for the next 7 days for temperatures and precipitation. And looking at our temperature graphic, they're expecting us to have below average temperatures. We haven't seen that on these graphics in quite a while, actually going back to probably the very early summer around the 4th of July when it was so chilly out there. We really haven't had too much below average temperatures here in the Burlington area over the past few months. And that's definitely going to be reflected when you see our average highs when we get in towards Monday and next Tuesday with a real cool shot of air coming into our area. Now looking at our precipitation chances, again, this is some good news. We continue to dry out after that very wet summer that we had. Looks like we're going to be seeing and to expect below average precipitation. So it's going to be cool out there and dry. So let's go ahead and take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up here in our Burlington area. And again, starting on Friday, looks like it's going to be fairly pleasant. Again, temperatures in the mid and upper 60s, so above average. Now, as we head into the weekend, that's when our temperatures are going to start to slide down. And by the time we get in towards Monday, look at this. Our average highs at this time of the year should be in the low 60s. We're going to be struggling to get out of the low 50s on Monday, even with that sun out there. So it is going to be a very, very chilly Monday next week as you head back to work. Now, getting out there in the morning, probably getting into Tuesday morning, might be a little bit chilly out there. Still doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much frost coming our way. Definitely no hard freezes coming our way at all. But it looks like after we get past Monday, see the chance of maybe some showers coming in on Tuesday as a little bit warmer air comes in as we have a weak disturbance just off the coast to our southeast. And as we round out the rest of our week, looks like the sunny skies are going to continue, fair weather is going to come back, and temperature is going to be probably right around average, maybe a couple of degrees warmer than that. At least that's how it looks right now. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. On October 30th at 11 a.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having a Halloween party. Everyone is welcome, and the event is free. Also on October 30th, 3rd Ave in Burlington will be having an event called Saturday Sweat, hosted by Revved Indoor Cycling. Everyone is welcome, and pre-registration is required. To register and get more information, go to 3rdavburlington.com. The Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having an event called Bouquet at Given Irwin Florist on October 30th. Everyone is welcome and pre-registration is required. To register, go to burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your community calendar.
The regular fall sports season is starting to draw to a close, but there is still plenty of action. For all the latest, we go to BNEWS sports reporter Anthony Matos for this week's sports report.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, and this is your weekly sports report. We are nearing the end of the fall regular season, but a couple games are still left for some Red Devil teams. We have the scoop, so let's get to it. Burlington football headed to Wilmington to take on the Wildcats on October 15th. Roll the highlights.
The Devils headed down the street to Wilmington for a matchup against the Wildcats. Burlington's offense found it difficult to produce any points during their timeout on the field. Quarterback Ronan Noak was under pressure, sacked on a play, and threw an interception to Zachary Tran of the Wildcats. The Red Devils' defense allowed 3 touchdowns in the game. One in the first by quarterback Luke Murphy, and 2 others in the second and third, both taken in by wide receiver John Germano. The Wilmington kicker missed the extra point attempts after the touchdowns. The Wildcats successfully went for a 2-point conversion on their last touchdown in the third. 20-0 was the final in the game, Wilmington.
Burlington drops to 0-6 on the season and will travel to Fred Green Memorial Field to see the Melrose Red Raiders on the 22nd. Girls swimming headed to Dorchester for a meet against Boston Latin. The Red Devils lost the meet 93-67. They then hosted Belmont on the 20th, where they lost 83-66. Burlington drops to 0-9 of the season and will have another meet on Friday. As of this taping, the match is still to be played. Girls and boys soccer both took on the Wilmington Wildcats on the 20th. We were at the boys' game and have these highlights.
It was a cold evening down at Varsity Field for the Red Devils and Wildcats. In the first half, Wilmington senior Ane Gandhi ran past the Burlington defenders to get a goal for the Wildcats, 1-0. The Red Devils quickly answered back as senior goaltender C.J. Hacker tied it up for Burlington 1-1 after a penalty shot was called by the ref. Both teams didn't allow any points to go through the net for the remainder of the game. 1-1 was your final.
The girls won their match 2-0 with goals in the game by senior captains Michaela Giordano and Sylvia Cummings. Burlington played the Stoneham Spartans on the 20th, where they won both games, ended in a tie. They'll take on the Watertown Red Raiders on Friday the 22nd. Currently, the teams have the same record, 3-8-3. Girls volleyball hosted Wayland High School on the 18th. Burlington won the game 3-2. They then took on Stoneham the following day and won that match 3-0. They improved to 11-4 in the season and will travel to Belmont on the 21st. As of this taping, the game is still to be played. Girls field hockey hosted the Bedford Buccaneers on the 15th at Varsity Field. The team lost 3-1 in the match. They then hosted Stoneham on the 19th, where they won 2-0 with goals from senior captain Anna Otis. Burlington moves to 2-10-2 and will travel to Watertown on the 21st. As of the taping, the game is still to be played. Both cross-country teams will be headed to the Wilmington Wildcats. As of the taping, the meet is underway, and we'll have a look at how they did in next week's sports report. Currently, the girls are 1-3 and the boys are 2-2. For more Red Devil action, go to the BNews Sports section at bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNews Sports. That's all for Weekly Sports Report. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo was a great perspective of Burlington you don't often see. It was sent in by Philip Doro and features Burlington on a fall day with the Boston skyline in the distance taken from a drone. This view really shows how many beautiful trees there are in town. Thanks for the photo, Philip. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your summer activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments, whatever you think is interesting and want to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, don't forget the pumpkin patch at St. Mark's. Visit down there, as well as getting a Capitol Grill raffle ticket for People Helping People. You can find that at their website at peoplehelpingpeopleinc.org. Okay, I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Chris Flaherty, Robert Paris, and Tad Stefanak, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, Peter Matos with sports, and our guest reporter today, Ethan Durrell. Thank you for joining us.